Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Jordan here. Now today I'm taking a look at a game called Metallic Child. I've had my eyes on this one for quite a while now, but it's always been kind of mysterious to me, so let's jump in and see what it's all about. So this is a roguelike action game made by Korean developers. With its big chunky graphics and its anime girl beating the crap out of robots, I was sold instantly. But how is it? Does it live up to my expectations? Well, to be honest, my expectations were not particularly high. I know this was primarily made by one dude. I was not expecting something like Hades, but I was hoping for a decent, charming time where I could test my skills a little, and yet potentially switch my brain off to relax. And I think Metallic Child knocks it out of the park. The story stars Rona, an android girl on a space station full of robots. For some reason, all the robots aboard have gone a bit nuts and incite rebellion. All except for our heroes who must strive to fight back and stop those crazy ass robots from crashing the space station into the Earth. What a charming bunch they are. You'll notice that on many of the visuals, the user interface is laid out kinda like a security camera. That's because you, yes you, here on Earth, are looking on and helping Rona in her efforts, since she has lost control of her controls. And you help her fight off the enemy robots while making lots of references to how this is very much like a video game. The story is rather nice. They've gone for some touching moments. They try to develop the cast of characters and it's done rather well, if a little bit sparse, since you're only treated to story segments after you've completed a level, which, you know, this being a roguelike doesn't happen regularly, but there's plenty of lore in the documents you attain to help fill those voids. It is a good effort though, and the Japanese voice acting is pretty great, which helps sell it a lot. The gameplay is a mix of your standard roguelike action game fused with Mega Man. Yeah, you heard that right, Mega Man. Mega Man is firmly in this game's DNA. So you have this little hub area from which you can upgrade your character, customize things, and just chill out and explore the lore. But then, you want to head out into action, you are treated to a selection of 8 Metallic Childs. Yes, they're not collectively called children in this lore. Think of these as robot masters. They each have their own specially themed level, you know, the ice dude, the electric dude, and so on. Each level has 4 floors, each with their own mini bosses before taking on the robot master, Metallic Child, and defeating them in order to inherit a special attack. It's exactly like Mega Man. It's a compelling progression system that surprisingly works well for this roguelike type action game. If you enjoyed having the freedom to choose which stage to take on and which specialities to inherit early on, this is really great. The action itself is pretty simple and yet rather confusing if tried to be explained, hence why I consider the 10-minute tutorial to be more off-putting than actually useful. Yes, the tutorial for this is just awful. It explains way too much, way too quickly, and you just feel overwhelmed and kind of panic, like, oh my god, what is this game? But if you actually play the game, like half an hour later, you've pretty much got to grips with it. So Rona can equip 2 weapons into the fray and they can be switched between. They each provide different skills, such as the fists allowing you to dodge roll while the sword allows you to block. As you make your way through the randomly generated levels, each room there will pop up a handful of enemies. You can do normal attacks to wear them down or a special attack unique to each weapon. By far the most satisfying thing about this game and the combat here is grabbing them. You'll want to press the grab button on most enemies to send them flying into walls to do massive damage, or slamming them into other enemies to deal double damage. It is glorious and rewarding every single time. Some enemies definitely need this, as they have shields which need to be taken down by slamming them into walls before you can damage them with your weapon. Does it feel overpowered? Definitely. But in a game that constantly overwhelms you with enemies and hurdles, it is oh so lovely to have something oh so trustworthy at your side. Kinda like in arcade beat 'em ups where there's always that one overpowered attack that you keep spamming over and over again. Yeah, you're cheesing it, but you don't feel bad because, let's face it, the game deserves it. It's a roguelike, so yeah, it has a good old mix of temporary upgrades and slowly earned permanent upgrades. This is where the head spinning comes in, and I'm not going to try and fully explain it because you'll all just switch off. So yeah, in the hub world, if you slowly earn enough chips, you can upgrade things such as your maximum health, which, you know, is pretty standard, but aside from that, you go into each run completely fresh. Once in a level, there are 2 more kinds of upgrades. Both of them only last for the run. You can't take them outside of the level. The most common one is when you absorb robot cores from fallen enemies. These are upgrades that only last for a short space of time, and 3 can be equipped at once. It can be anything from your enemy receiving damage if they hurt you, or maybe increase the power of your throws. There is a lot of variety. They can even be upgraded at certain stations, but they still won't last forever. Plus, there is also a very good chance of getting a negative effect, like maybe your defense will be reduced or maybe your map will disappear. It's always a risk. I'd say 50-50. Not all of them are end of the world though, and the negative ones can either be removed manually at stations or they'll time out. But then there are more permanent upgrades specifically for this run. Kind of think of it like leveling up in the stage, where it'll stick with you either until you die, you retreat, or you're victorious. These can be rather random too, but are always positive, even if not entirely useful depending on your current situation. Like maybe one increases the attack of your hammer weapons, even if you don't have a hammer weapon equipped. But hey, at least you have choice. It is a lot going on. There's tons of randomness to it, which I appreciate as it always keeps you on your toes and makes life interesting. And even though there's plenty of negative temporary downgrades, they tend not to be vindictive or evil, just minor annoyances so you don't mind taking the risk each time. For me, this game is surprisingly fantastic. I really like it. The moment-to-moment action is fun, there's plenty of variety in locations, even if the level design itself can be a little lacking, the gimmicks for each theme and the different enemies within are just really great. It has everything I like about the genre. Simple moment-to-moment combat that's satisfying, it has really deep and yet random elements that add a lot of flavor to proceedings, you have a lot of choice that can either reward you or come back to bite you in the arse. Possibly the best thing is the amount of customization in the difficulty. Like I said, the tutorial just baffled me, so even though I normally start every single game that I review on normal difficulty, this time I thought, I'll just pop it down to easy, just get into the game, see what it's really all about, get a feel for it, and I did, and I think that really helped me. After that, I ramped it up to normal, which I think may have murdered me if I tried to play that first, because in normal mode, you ain't getting many healing items. Because this game, and the genre as a whole, is designed to be tough. You're supposed to die, and slowly get better, slowly upgrade. I think normal got the right balance. It's not super grindy, but it is tough and will take you a bit for you to get through. Easy, I think most people with a decent amount of action game experience should be fine, and it's a perfect way for you to get a feel for the game. But there is a harder difficulty for the more badass gamer out there, and for those who just want to enjoy the story, there is a story mode. And even more, in story mode, there is an option to be completely invincible if need be. They've thought of everyone, literally anybody of any skill can play this game. Even if it's your first ever game, you can play it, or if you enjoy getting your nipples clamped, you can enjoy it. And considering this game was primarily made by one dude, I find this incredibly impressive. I actually like this game a lot. Now, it may not be the prime example of the genre. I'm sure many people who are coming off Hades into this may scoff at it, but I don't care. I really like it. It's got a lot going for it, for me. I think it stands up to the big boys in many ways. It has an Asian flavor to the genre that I just can't put my finger on what it is, but for me, I'd play this over Hades despite, the more budgeted nature. I am well aware I may be in the minority on that one, but as someone who enjoys Eastern roguelikes, this is really rather up there. All it needed for me were either longer levels, not that it's short, but I would have liked longer, and I need my base building. I need my Dark Cloud, I need my Azure Dreams, in roguelikes, the base building aspect, that really, they go hand in hand. It's like perfection. Anyways, visually, as you can see, it holds up rather well on the Switch. It's really nice and satisfyingly chunky, and there's a great art style here. Interestingly, there's 2 graphics options. There's visual mode and performance mode. Personally, I didn't see much difference between the two visually. Maybe I could have compared for longer, but I would definitely go with performance mode, as the action performs admirably on the Switch, targeting and mostly hitting 60 frames per second, although not quite perfect. So yeah, go with performance mode because there's still hitches here and there on that one. On the US eShop, Metallic Child is $30, same in euros, and in the UK it's £20, although there is a 20% sale at the time of recording this. That is a really nice price for this, not gonna lie, although perhaps maybe you want to import the physical version, which is currently only available in Japan. And don't worry, it does have English, so if you pop it in your Switch, the Japanese version plays in English. So you can keep it forever, or perhaps get your money back after you're done with it. If you want to own a physical copy for yourself, then check the link below in the description and the pinned comment. That's where you'll find it, and if you do order it, you're also helping support us at the same time, massively so, and we thank you ever so much. Plus, in return, you can also get a very nice 5% off if you use the coupon code SwitchWatchTV while checking out. That's all one word, SwitchWatchTV, while checking out for 5% off any physical item from PlayAsia if you use our links. Plus, if you do purchase it with our links, be sure to send in a picture to our community spotlight on our Monday's video, because I'd love to thank you personally. Now, I did talk with the developer about a physical Western version, and he said he would love to if he had the opportunity, but at the time of the discussion, like a month ago, nothing was currently in place, although he's very much open to the idea if the right publisher came along to help out, so do keep that in mind. Overall, Metallic Child is a game that I've had my eyes on for a while. Although I was only expecting a charming, if budgeted time, I was really surprised at how much effort and love was put into this. It nails most of the aspects of the genre really well, and is very addictive to play. It may have a baffling tutorial, but once you've had it in your hands for half an hour, it all begins to make sense. Great variety in enemies and locations, great random elements, wonderful accessibility options, and smashing robots into a wall as an anime babe just never gets old. I'm well aware I may be overstating this game, but you have to understand I really like this genre. An 8.5 out of 10 for me. I suspect I'm going to be one of the higher reviews out there for this one, so just keep that in mind. I would like to know your thoughts. Are you into the roguelike genre? What's your favorite? Special thanks to our executive producers Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumor, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, J Cross 7776, Elissa, Punky Dooster, Michael Del Polito, Cartoon Soren, Jack Zerus, Vilos, Robotech, and Z. Thank you ever so much for your support. Plus you, yes, you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, you are a legend too. Give me a high five in the comments. Be sure to check out our roguelikes list we made a few months back, and why not our review of Hades, compare the two. Plus every Monday I tell you all the physical releases coming to the Switch, and James takes you through all the digital bargains on Sunday. We'll see you guys on another video. Have a good one.